Okay guys, standard review over linear equations. First page, basically the y equals mx plus b is a major part of this. You don't use it on every problem, but on the vast majority that's going to come into play. Okay, write an equation for the given line in slope-intercept form. So that's y equals mx plus b. Of course, you have to find the m and the b. That's why we leave open spaces, so m and b. Now remember what m and b mean. M is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So where's the line cross the y-axis? Right down here. Okay, so that's -1, -2. So that's your y-intercept. Now remember what a slope is. It's rise over run of the line. Okay, so you got to find another point. Go to the right. Don't go to the left. Go only in this way. These two quadrants here. So I think right there will work. And then I measure the rise over the run. So it's a rise of 1, positive 1 because it's up, and a run of 2. So 1/2. There's your answer. Y equals 1/2 x minus 2 or plus -2. Okay, now in the next problem, this is the same thing. So m is our slope, and b is our y-intercept. Okay, so where's it cross the y-axis? Right there. And that's up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has a y-intercept of 5. Then go to the right. Right there will work. Okay. So rise over run. So it has a rise of -3, and it has a run of 1. Now, if we have a 1 as the run, we can just write that as -3. Y equals -3x plus 5. Okay. Now, the next three problems, you have equations, and you have to actually construct the graph of them. Now, remember, we want to use slope y-intercept in all these. Okay, so we have to get the y by itself. See, the y is not by itself. It is multiplied by a -6. Now, I don't like my y multiplied by a negative, so then what I'm going to do is switch the whole equation to opposite. -2, positive 6, and then 18 goes positive. Then you can start the process of getting the y by itself. You have to add 2x and divide then by 6. So you plus 2x, but there's not an x to the other side, so you put a 0x, so you have a like term for it to go with, 2x. So you line up your equals, you got 6 times y. You want to put your x first because it's mx plus b, so it's going to be 2x plus 18. Then you divide everything by 6. That gets rid of the times 6, and then you divide both your x and your constant terms by 6. So we're going to divide 2 by 6. Don't want that. Hit second PRB, and then it's 1/3. So 1/3 x. It takes a 2, 6 and reduces it by a factor of 2. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Now you got y equals mx plus b, and you have your slope and your y-intercept. So slope is 1/3, and the y-intercept is positive 3. Okay, so on the y-axis you go 1, 2, 3. And then from there, you go up 1, right 3. Up 1, 1, 2, 3. I'll do it again. 1, 1, 2, 3. And there's my line I've constructed. Okay. On that line is all points that represent input, output of the equation that I have. Next problem, number 4 is easy because it's already y is already by itself. It's in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, that's a -3 now when I do my b. So slope, y-intercept. So slope is 7 over 1, y-intercept -3. So on the y-axis I go down 1, 2, 3. Then from there, I go up 7, right 1. It's going to be a very steep line because 7 is a very high slope. Means every time the x increases by 1, the whole output increases by 7. Okay, then I can't do it again, so it's just those 2 points. Okay, remember to put arrows on both ends, please, because it is continuous. Okay. Okay, number 5, y equals -2. Okay, y equals -2. Now there's no x, you're missing the x, so you're not going for mx plus b. Okay, this is called a constant graph. Okay, so you're going to make 3 coordinate points, and what's the variable that's constantly equal to -2? Why, it's y. So all the y coordinates are -2. So since x isn't even here, I'll pick something easy for x. We'll go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I go right 1 down 2. Right 2 down 2. Right 3 down 2. And you make your line. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add another one down here. X equals 5. Okay, it's another constant because you're missing the y this time. So this time the constant value is 5, but it's for x now. And then y is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so write 5 up 1. Write 5 up 2, write 5 up 3. Now it's a straight vertical line, okay, through the 5 on the x-axis, okay. Every point on that line has an x-coordinate of 5, okay. Now, next page, the next blank, it's a bunch of graphs that are blank. Now we're to the next problems. For problems 6 through 9, write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line with the given characteristics. So, all these problems, we want the y by itself with mx plus b. Okay, now in this one they tell me what my slope is. It's -4. Okay. Now, this line I also has to have a solution through -1, 7. That has to be one of the points on the line. So that means that when x equals -1, y has to equal 7. Okay. So to find the b, we use our y equals m times x plus b, and we know our m value is -4, and we also know that when y is 7, x is -1. So to find what b makes this happen, well, you line up your equals, you got 7, and then b plus, put the b first. The -4 times -1 is 4, and then I have to get the b by itself by minusing 4. So 3 is equal to b, so put that up in there. Now if you want to check your answer, okay, you can take -4 times the x, which is -1, plus 3, and the output should be 7. Yes. Okay, number 7, through. That means now there's 2 points in the line. When x is 3, y has to be -2. When x is 6, y has to be 1. So we have to write the equation that makes that happen. So y equals blank x, mx plus b. So m and b. Remember, m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Now, to find the slope, remember, slope is rise over run, or it's also the change in y over the change in x. So, you can find that with y minus y, x minus x. That finds the change in y on top, the rise, the change in x on the bottom, the run. Now, I would start with your higher x point. I would put 1 over 6, and then after the minus is -2 over 3. Now 1 minus -2, that's actually 1 plus 2, which is 3, and then 6 minus 3 is 3, and 3 divided by 3 equals 1. Okay, so my m is a 1. Okay, now you have to find the b. So y equals m times x plus b. So my m is 1. Now for x and y, you can pick either this one or this one. I'll pick 1 and 6. So 1 is y, 6 is x. You can also use -2 as y and 3 as x. It'll accomplish the same thing. 1 times 6 is 6, and I subtract 6 from both sides. Negative 5 equals B. Okay, now I can always check my answer to this by taking 1 times 3, adding negative 5. I should get negative 2 as my output. I can take 1 times 6 plus negative 5. I should get 1 as my output. So that happened for both of them. Okay, we need to write a y equals mx plus b equation that is parallel to y equals 5x minus 2, and my line also has to be when x is 2, y is negative 1. So y equals mx plus b. M is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Now, parallel means that the lines, the equations, the one they gave me and the one I'm writing have to have the same m. Okay, or the same slope. So I say y is by itself here, so the m is 5, the b is negative 2, but we don't care what the b is. So the same m, if their m's 5, my slope has to be 5 as well. Now, my b, okay, remember, when y is negative 2, x needs to be 2 when y is negative 1. So what b makes that happen? Y equals m times x plus b. Okay, so my m is 5. And then negative 1 is y and 2 is x. So b plus 10, because 5 times 2 is 10. Then I minus 10 from each side. Negative 1 minus 10 is negative 11. That equals b. Okay. Now you know the lines are parallel because the m's are the same. And then 5 times 2 plus negative 11 should give me an output of negative 1. It does. Okay, next problem, perpendicular to y equals negative 3x plus 7 through 3, 5. Kind of the same concept, but perpendicular, you need to flip the m. That means the lines will cross and form a 90-degree angle. Flip the m, and you also have to make it the opposite sign, meaning negative, positive, positive, negative. So MB. Okay, so m and b. Now, I don't care about the plus 7. Now, remember, we have to flip m. Well, first I make it a fraction and flip it then to 1 over 3. And if we have negative here, then my m has to be positive. So 1/3 is my slope. Then by equals m times x plus b. So my m is 1/3. And then 5 replaces the y, 3 replaces the x. 1/3 times 3 is 1. Use a calculator if you don't know that. Minus 1, 4 is equal to b. So y equals 1/3 x plus 4. Now, these problems you don't use y equals mx plus b. Remember how absolute value graphs work. They form a V, okay? And we talked about y when we did this assignment, okay? And the reason why is because if I have y equals the absolute value of x, and I do 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, the absolute value of 3 is 3. 3 is 3 units from 0. If I put 2 in for x, the absolute value of 2 is 2. 1, 0. When you put negative 1 in for x, the absolute value of negative 1 is 1. Because remember, absolute value is distance from 0. 2, 3, and then it forms a V, okay? Now, we have y equals the absolute value of x minus 7, okay? Now, it makes a V. We have to find what's known as the vertex. That'd be the middle of the V. It's where the V changes direction. It's an xy coordinate, okay? Now, there's a formula you can know. You can do one of two things, okay? Here's the formula that works every time. You make sure you have something in with the x. Put a plus 0 if you don't have anything. And that's your h, whatever's inside, and this is your k, okay? Vertex can be found by taking the opposite of the h and then k. Okay, so the opposite of h is going to, 0 doesn't really have an opposite, so it's 0, and then just the k value is negative 7. You can do it like that, or you can just take the inside of the absolute value, which just had x, set it equal to 0, so that would be 0. Okay, because the lowest anything in absolute value could be is 0, okay? So 0, and then if you put 0 in for x, you'd still have to minus 7, giving you an output of negative 7. So opposite of h and k. So 0, remember, x is 0, y is -7. So 0 on x is in the middle, but -7 on y is down 7. So you don't do anything with 0, you just go down 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then from there, that's your vertex, you construct your V. Okay. Okay, now I forgot to put what the range is. Okay, the domain and range. Domain is all. Now the range, you see where you're at on the y line, okay? Which is, let me know, circle the vertex point. Where are you at on the y? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. You're at -7. So at that point, y is -7. Now from there you're going up, so it would be greater than or equal to. Okay, up from there. Okay, number 11, I forgot the y equals right there. Okay, y equals the absolute value of x plus 3. So now we have an actual h. We don't need to put in the 0, but I don't have a k now, so I put plus 0, and that's your k. So again, the vertex. If you want to do it the quick way, you just got to remember it's opposite of h. That's what makes the absolute value 0, and then your k value. So the opposite of positive 3 is -3, and then 0. Okay. So now x, y. So remember, -3 on x is left 3, and then you just move left 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then you construct your v from there. Okay, and then the domain and the range. Domain's all. Range is related to your y. That is not all. Now you look at where the vertex is on the y line. Okay, well it's right here, which is a y value of 0. It's right in the middle, so y equals 0 at that point. So you put 0, and from there you're greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Basically, k's move it up and down. H's move it right or left, the opposite of what it says. Okay. Okay, then blank. Okay, number 12, the temperature at sunrise is 65 degrees. Each hour during the day, the temperature rises 5 degrees. How many hours will it take the temperature to reach 95 degrees? This one's not too bad. You got degrees and hours. Hours is x, degrees is y. So per. Degrees per hour. Degrees per hour is 5, okay? Because it's every 1 hour it's going up 5, so 5 times x, okay? So to make, when I have the slope, and this is your m right there, x, y. Degrees is your y, hours is the x. So I know that every hour is 5 degrees, so I go 0, 1, 2, block it. So you start with 65, then you add 5 every hour. So it's going to be 70 and then 75. Now what I need to use this for is to find when we're going to get to 95 degrees. Okay. Okay, so equals y. The y-intercept is 65 and the slope is 5 times x. Okay, so the equation is 65 plus 5 times x equals y, and then y is equal to 95. Okay, so 65 plus 5 times x equals 95, and then you get x by itself. You need to subtract your 65 first and then divide by your 5. So 5 times x is going to equal 30, then I divide by 5, and I get 6. 6 hours. Okay, next problem's not quite so breezy. Got 2 left. I take out a loan from a friend. After 3 years, I owe $7,000 on the loan. After 6 hours, I owe $4,500 on the loan. How many years does it take to pay off the loan completely from the time I started making payments? That means when do I owe $0? Okay, so years and dollars are your units. The time's always x, and then dollars is y. Per. Dollars per year. Now they never told us a dollars per year rate, so I'm going to put M, okay? And then I do my table differently when I put M. Years and money, you put 0, but you can't go to 1 and 2, okay? So you're going to put 3 with $7,000. Then you're going to put 6 years with $4,500. And then your job is to find when you are at $0, okay? Now, clearly you can see the money going down, so I would put a B right there. So when I go construct my line graph, B plus, and then I don't know my M, so it's M times X. So I have to find the M and the B before I can write my equation down here. Okay, so your M, well, it's the same way you would find a slope. It's the change in Y, or the money, over the change in X, or the years. So Y minus Y, X minus X. So I would put 4,500 over 6, and then I would put 7,000 over 3, okay? Actually, hold on a second. I want to change something because otherwise this is going to be kind of nasty. Can you switch the 3 to a 4? Please just do it, okay? 3 to a 4, so 6 minus 4. Okay, this will work out better. Otherwise, I'm going to get wicked decimals. I don't really care to have that. I'm changing it. So negative 2,500. Then 6 minus 4 is 2. Okay, so then I'm going to divide it. Now remember, this is going to be negative slope, and it should be, so it's negative 1,250 times X. Okay, now to find B, where you started at, you would apply the Y equals M times X plus B. Okay, so the M we know is negative 1,250. Now for X and Y, you look at your table. I'll use 4 and 7,000. You could also use the 6 and 4,500. So 7,000, take negative 1,250 times 4. Just keep it together. Numbers are bigger. Don't forget the negative 1,250. Don't forget that. Negative 5,000. Then I get the B by itself by adding 5,000 to both sides. And that is 12,000. Now that is not your answer to the problem, okay? You have just now found your M and B. Now you write your equation. So 12,000 plus negative 1,250 times X equals Y. And then that 0 goes in for Y, okay? So 0. 12,000 plus negative 1,250 times 0, or times X, excuse me, equals 0. Now you get the X by itself. You need to subtract your 12,000 from 0 and then divide whatever that is by negative 1,250. Okay, divide, and hope for the best. .6, okay, that works. 9.6 years. Okay, last problem. Scatter plot and the trend line. The data below shows the estimated amount of computer and video game sales in the given years. So first off, these years, we're going to put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Make a scatter plot for the data and draw a trend line. So the X is going to be the years, okay? And the Y is going to be the sales. So years, we just go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. All right, now the sales, we want to start at 0, but the first interval, we're going to start at like 150 because 152 is the highest, and then we're going to go up by 20s, and that'll take us to 270. So 170, 190, 210, 230, 250, 270. 270 is good enough. Okay, now we start graphing. 0, 152. 1, 185. It's between the 170 and the 90. 2, 196. Okay. Just get it somewhere. Okay, 3, 2, 10, so 3, 2, 10. 4, 2, 25, so it doesn't have to be perfect. 5, 2, 41. 6, 2, 50. 7, 2, 41. Okay, somewhere in there. Then 8, 270. Now you had a little dip here, but it's a positive trend. Okay, so you take the line, make your trend line. It might not look exactly like mine. It just should be going upward. Okay. Now part B, write an equation for your trend line. So y equals mx plus b. You have to find the m and the b. We're not going to do the extrapolation part. Okay. Now you're going to make a mini table, x, y. X is years, y is sales. Now everybody should be using the 0, 152 because that's your b. Okay. So then I don't have to work very hard to find the b. Now I picked two other points. I'm going to go above the 3 and the 5. Okay. So 3, 2, 10, 5, 2, 41. Okay, so then the m, we're going to use y minus y, x minus x. Okay, so it's going to be 241 over 5, start with your higher x, and then 210 over 3. So that's going to be 21 over 2. You can go with that. I'm fine with 10.5. If you want to go second PRB, 10.5. If you want to go second ABC, that's fine. I don't care. Either put 21 over 2, 10.5, or 10.5. Any of them are good. Okay.